give me like a
Go.
1 minute? Hi, Steve Brown. It's nice to have you on our 360 of St. Simon's. And I'm especially excited because I don't know you very well. So this is a good chance for me as well as for the rest of our parish to get to know a little bit about you. What I know is that you moved here. I met you at a new member lunch, and in no time you were serving on the vestry after having sworn you'd never do that again.
Yeah, that wasn't up to me. That was.
Tell us how that happened, where you served before, and what made you become a member at St. Simon's and sign up.
I've been I'm a cradle Episcopalian, and I not so much left the church, but left going to church when I got into high school, went to college. When we had kids, 30 years old, we decided, okay, it's time to go back to church. My wife was raised as a Catholic. We both wandered away for 10, 12, 15 years. And when we came back, I started out somewhat involved, but not at this level. I was a backbencher. I would get involved if somebody asked me, but I wasn't really doing a whole lot. And then toward the end of my career in the military, we moved here, late 90s. Small parish, not even a parish, it was a mission. And really you had to roll your sleeves up and get involved. So I sat on the vestry a number of times. I was the treasurer. I was basically the priest's right-hand man once I retired. I was living at the church. Richie was a member. We fell in love with the Richies. I took a job, moved away, and when we came back, that little church doesn't have a priest right now. So we were wondering, okay, if we go back here, it's again rolling your sleeves up and doing the heavy lifting, or I could come to St. Simon's with the Richies and sit in the back row and enjoy the sermons and not do much else. And then another Air Force retiree calls me on the phone while I'm vacationing out in Arizona and says, we need you on the vestry. And I couldn't say no.
Well, we're grateful that you said yes. So you've had some careers that tell me you're a guy who likes a little bit of order. Is that true?
Yeah,
From
very
military to prisons. Do I have that right? Tell us about what you did.
Well, I grew up in the military. My father was military. I grew up on Air Force bases. So as soon as I got out of college, I went through ROTC, graduated, and right away I'm right back in the same environment, which I'm comfortable in. And then after 30 years, I decided I'd retire and just play golf and maybe do a little church work, and it wasn't enough. So I went up visiting some friends in Montgomery, military guys, who one of them happened to know the commissioner of the Alabama prison system, who was a retired Army 1-star. He was also the Assistant Attorney General for the state. And our military backgrounds, as soon as I sat down and talked to him, he said, hey, you're hired. And I was still wondering if I should really do this or not. I went in as basically the Director of Administration and fleeted up to become the Chief of Staff, which is kind of the guy running the prisons while the commissioner is dealing with all the outside influences. It's
So
something I
maybe-
never thought I'd get involved in. I was like everybody else. Prisons are prisons. I don't really want to know about them. And now that I've done it, I don't want to know about them anymore.
So in contrast to the military and the order that you tried to instill in prison world, there's got to be a little chaos when it comes to grandkids. Where are they? And tell us about your name.
Our daughter is a nurse, lives in Phoenix. She's got an 11 and an 11-year-old girl who is going to be a problem when she gets older. She's way too headstrong, and we have a six-year-old grandson and a 4-year-old granddaughter here, and she's going to be a problem.
And what do they call their grandfather?
Papa.
Okay. Well, Papa Steve, thank you so much for joining us and serving in the way that you're serving St. Simon's.
You bet.
Glad you didn't retire.